Okay, so this is the section on solving by factoring. Just reminders on how to do this. So this is the top left entry on your foldable. And this is the example problem that we're going to be doing. So on the left flap, underneath the flap, you're going to write your steps out. And the example, I'm going to work through the example while you're writing the steps. And then you're going to do on the part that the flap covers, you're going to do the you do that I'm going to leave you with at the end here. So, first step when we talk about solving by factoring is you want to make sure that you have your equation written in this standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So one side of the equation is equal to 0. So if I'm looking at my equation here, I'm going to add 10x and subtract 8 from both sides in order to get my equation in the correct form. So now one side is equal to 0. Why do we do that for factoring? It's so that we are going to be able to use the zero product property, which we'll do in a minute. Step 2 is you're going to factor completely using all of your methods. The important thing here is note, remember GCF, greatest common factor, is what comes first if possible. It'll make your life easier when factoring. So we have 3 terms here. Difference of squares, look back in your notes, difference of squares is that binomial method of factoring. Unfoiling though, with 3 terms, our GCF here, 3x squared, 10x, and negative 8, what do they have in common? They only have in common 1, so we're going to go ahead and unfoil. So I'm looking for, I'm going to take 3 times negative 8, what multiplies to be negative 24, and adds to be 10. So those are, for my unfoiling here, I'm going to use the numbers that solve this. So multiply to be negative 24, add to be 10. Be careful, this one is 12 and negative 2. You might think 4 and 6, but it doesn't fit both criteria. So that's what I split that middle term into. 12x, and I use those numbers to split my middle term, and then unfoil by grouping. So what's the GCF of my first term, or first set of terms? It's 3x and x plus 4. The GCF of my second set of terms is negative 2 and x plus 4. So my factored form is x plus 4 because these parentheses match. And then what's left over is 3x minus 2. So now I have my factored form. So step 2, factor completely using whatever method you're going to use. And number 3, last step, use the zero product property to solve for your values of x. So the zero product property, right off to the side, says if you have things multiplied, a times b equals 0. So here we have a parentheses times a parentheses, but 2 things being multiplied. Then either the first part equals 0 or the second part equals 0. So we set x plus 4 equal to 0 to solve for x. So subtract 4, and x is equal to negative 4. Or it could be that the second part here, 3x minus 2 equals 0. So add 2, 3x equals 2, and divide by 3 to get x alone. So x is equal to 2/3. So there are your 2 solutions. So that's the problem that I did for you to see and remember, and you can use this to refer to. Here's the problem that you're going to try and put in your foldable.